Hello everyone. Welcome back. Today, we've got some crucial news you don't want to miss. Let's dive right into the top financial headlines and break down what's happening. As we step into a new week, let's dive into 5 major economic events worth keeping an eye on. 1. The big one, Friday's U.S. jobs report. On Friday, the U.S. Labor Department will release the much-anticipated non-farm payrolls report. This is a critical piece of data for gauging the health of the job market and the broader economy. Wall Street is predicting that 154,000 jobs were added in December, a noticeable drop from November's 227,000. The unemployment rate is expected to hold steady at 4.2%. The slowdown in job creation is being chalked up to seasonal factors, including weather. Why does this matter? The strength of the labor market could heavily influence the Federal Reserve's rate-cutting plans for 2025. Right now, Jerome Powell isn't exactly fueling optimism. He's hinted at just 2 rate cuts this year, far fewer than the 3 or 4 Wall Street is hoping for. If Friday's jobs report shows a bigger slowdown than expected, it could pressure the Fed to soften its stance. But if job growth beats expectations, Powell's hawkish tone might just get louder. Either way, all eyes will be on that report. 2. Fed officials are talking a lot. The Federal Reserve isn't just sitting back, they're keeping the dialogue open with the markets. On Wednesday, the Fed will release the minutes from December's FOMC meeting, giving investors a deeper look into policymakers' views on future rate hikes. On top of that, several Fed officials are set to make public appearances this week. Lisa Cook speaks Monday, Christopher Waller on Wednesday, and regional Fed presidents Thomas Barkin, Richmond, and Patrick Harker, Philadelphia, will also weigh in. This steady stream of communication reflects the Fed's commitment to managing market expectations and reducing uncertainty. 3. Inflation watch in the Eurozone. On Tuesday, the Eurozone will publish its inflation numbers, with individual data from Germany and France coming out on Monday. Why does this matter? Markets want to gauge whether the European Central Bank, ECB, might pivot towards stimulating the economy, especially as Europe teeters on the edge of a recession. If inflation cools faster than expected, the ECB may have no choice but to switch gears and focus on boosting growth. These numbers are definitely worth a closer look. 4. Oil prices and dollar dynamics. Last week, oil prices climbed, with Brent crude jumping 3.3%. The rally was fueled by reports of additional economic stimulus measures from China, combined with seasonal heating demand and a dip in U.S. oil inventories. This week, the focus will shift to the dollar. If the dollar strengthens, it could put downward pressure on oil prices. Whether oil continues to rise or takes a breather will largely depend on how the dollar performs in the days ahead. 5. Key economic data out of China. China is releasing 2 sets of important inflation data this week. On Wednesday night, U.S. time, we'll get December's PPI, Producer Price Index, and CPI, Consumer Price Index. The PPI, which measures wholesale prices, is expected to remain in negative territory, while the CPI is likely to stay under 0.5%, signaling ongoing deflation. Reuters has already weighed in, suggesting these numbers will highlight how China's stimulus efforts have struggled to drive demand effectively. Alongside this, the People's Bank of China will release December's lending data on Thursday. The big question, have loans increased, or is borrowing still sluggish despite policy support? This will offer clues about the health of China's economy heading into 2025. The takeaway, a global economic reset. From the US job market to Eurozone inflation and China's economic trajectory, this week is packed with high-stakes events that will set the tone for global markets in 2025. Stay tuned, things are heating up fast. Next, let's dive into another big story making waves today. Bloomberg is reporting that former President Donald Trump hosted Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni for dinner at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. The meeting happened this past Saturday and has everyone talking, and here's why. Meloni's surprise visit comes just days before she's set to meet with President Biden in Italy. On January 9th, Biden is scheduled to visit Italy and the Vatican as part of his final overseas trip before leaving office. So, Meloni making this detour to meet Trump first has raised a lot of eyebrows, especially in international media. Trump had nothing but glowing praise for Meloni during the meeting. He called her a fantastic leader who has swept through Europe with her political influence. Speaking at Mar-a-Lago, Trump said, "It's exciting to be here with an amazing woman, Italy's Prime Minister. She's really shaken things up in Europe and beyond." This dinner marks the fourth time Trump has hosted a foreign leader at Mar-a-Lago since his election win. The first three were Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Argentine President Javier Milei, and Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Meloni's visit, given its timing, has added an intriguing twist to the lead-up to Biden's final diplomatic trip. It's safe to say the world is watching closely as this political triangle unfolds. Alright, let's break down two big headlines involving Trump's team and some friction with the UK. 1. Trump slams the UK's energy policies. Bloomberg reported today that President-elect Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform to blast the UK's windfall tax on oil and gas producers. Trump didn't hold back, calling the policy a huge mistake. He urged the UK to ramp up oil and gas production in the North Sea and, as he put it, get rid of the wind turbines. So, why the sudden criticism? It all ties back to the American energy giant Apache Corporation, which recently announced it's pulling out of the North Sea. Their reason? A sharp hike in taxes on energy company profits in the UK. Some speculate Apache might have complained to Trump directly, sparking his fiery remarks. This controversy also ties into UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour Party. Last summer, they pledged to halt new oil and gas exploration licenses in the North Sea, a stance that clashes with Trump's pro-oil and gas agenda in the US. Interestingly, Bloomberg also pointed out that Elon Musk, who's been on a roll criticizing Starmer recently, might have influenced Trump's comments. Musk has questioned Starmer's past record as the UK's Attorney General and even called for a new election in Britain. 2. Musk turns on his ally Farage. Now for the second twist. Elon Musk publicly criticized Nigel Farage, a longtime ally of Trump and the leader of the newly renamed Britain Party, formerly the Reform Party. Just last week, Musk seemed ready to back Farage in a big way, reportedly offering up to $100 million to help Farage's party gain traction in the next UK election. But everything changed after a disagreement over Tommy Robinson, a controversial far-right activist in the UK. Musk recently called for Robinson's release, but neither major UK political party nor Farage supported the idea. Farage's refusal to align with Musk on this issue seems to have soured their relationship. Farage responded to Musk's criticism today, saying, "I've made it very clear I disagree with everything Robinson represents. But I do believe in free speech, and I've said Musk is a hero long before he ever offered potential funding." So, is Musk's financial support for Farage now off the table? That's the million, or should we say $100 million question. This sudden fallout is definitely something to keep an eye on. Stay tuned, these unfolding dramas between Trump, Musk, and UK politics are shaping up to be quite the spectacle. Fourthly, South Korea's political crisis heats up. Big news from South Korea today: the ongoing political turmoil surrounding former President Yoon Suk-yeol has taken a dramatic turn. Let's break it down. Arrest warrant drama. Reuters reported that South Korean prosecutors issued an arrest warrant for Yoon Suk-yeol, but Yoon isn't going quietly. He's refused to comply and filed an appeal. Today, a Seoul court rejected that appeal, upholding the arrest warrant. But Yoon's legal team isn't giving up. They vowed to take the fight all the way to South Korea's Supreme Court. Security chief sparks controversy. In a surprising twist, South Korea's presidential security chief, Park Chung-jun, announced he wouldn't assist in Yoon's arrest. Park's statement stirred up a lot of debate. He called out media criticism accusing his department of turning into Yoon's private army, calling those claims insulting. Park stood firm, saying he couldn't support arresting the impeached leader. Protests erupt. Meanwhile, the crisis has spilled into the streets. Thousands of protesters gathered near Yoon's residence, demanding his arrest. But it's not one-sided. There are also demonstrators showing their support for Yoon. The divided public opinion highlights just how messy and polarized South Korean politics have become. Enter Antony Blinken. Adding to the drama, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in South Korea today. It's unclear what he plans to discuss with the acting president, given the chaotic state of South Korean politics. What kind of stance, if any, the US might take in this crisis is anyone's guess. This situation is still unfolding, and the stakes are high. We'll keep a close eye on South Korea's political storm and any potential moves from the US. Stay tuned. Finally, big updates from Ukraine. President Volodymyr Zelensky revealed that Russian and North Korean forces suffered major losses in battles near Russia's Kursk region. Let's dive into the details. What happened? Zelensky, in his latest video address, stated that fighting near the village of Makhnovka in the Kursk region led to the destruction of an entire battalion of North Korean infantry soldiers and Russian paratroopers. While he didn't provide exact numbers, battalions typically consist of several hundred troops. Reports estimate that around 11,000 North Korean soldiers are stationed in the Kursk region, likely sent there as part of the growing military cooperation between Moscow and Pyongyang. Zelensky also pointed out that these North Korean troops weren't given proper support by their Russian counterparts, leaving them highly vulnerable. Extreme measures. Zelensky described how North Korean soldiers resorted to desperate actions to avoid capture, with reports of some being executed by their own units under extreme circumstances. It's a grim picture of the conditions faced by these troops. Kim Jong-un stance. Despite these losses, it seems North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, isn't flinching. His relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin remains tight. In a New Year's call, Kim reportedly expressed confidence in Putin's ability to win the war in Ukraine by 2025. The bigger picture. This news highlights the brutal indifference of authoritarian leaders toward their people. The deployment of North Korean soldiers to aid Russia underscores just how far both regimes are willing to go, even at the cost of human lives. The situation in Ukraine remains dire, but stories like this show the heavy price being paid by those dragged into the conflict. Let's hope for more clarity and accountability as this war continues. That's all for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.